Hello, in this video we're looking at issue 68 of Warhammer 40,000 Imperium magazine, finishing our unit of Wraiths with the third one for the Necron collection, and fighting a 75 power battle for control of multiple objectives. Hello, I'm Will, this is Mike, we're the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And in this video we're looking at issue 68 of Warhammer 40,000 Imperium magazine. This issue came with the final Canoptic Wraith for the Necron collection, and if you want to see that and the rest of its unit in the game, you can skip ahead using the timecode in the description if you'd like to, but we'll have a look through the issue itself first. First up we have a battle record for the Kialma's Skull battle zone, which we're fighting over in these last 20 issues, or at least of the original magazine. Another one of the worlds in the Ramesses system, a dead world that was initially thought to be completely uninhabited, but then turned out to be a Necron tomb world. And when this was discovered, the majority of the Imperial forces were redirected to try and stop the Necrons. Apparently geological disaster had destroyed the original Necrons that were sleeping there, but the Saracen dynasty came in and attempted to reawaken the tombs and use what was left to their own advantage. And then we have the battle record itself, and it actually suggests you play this issue's game twice and record the results here. If one player wins twice, then they have made a breakthrough in the ongoing conflict. We probably won't do that, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Now we learn about the third Tyrannic War. You've seen the first and the second before. In this one, the Hive Fleet Leviathan, the next Hive Fleet to invade the Imperium, actually came from underneath the galactic plane and invaded across a wide front. So the Imperium suddenly found itself beset in many places. And it kind of came to a head with the battle for Baal, the homeworld of the Blood Angels chapter, where the Blood Angels and many of their successor chapters fought to hold off the Tyranid invasion. Then it became much more complicated when the Demons of Khorne also arrived, and it was only the arrival of Roboute Guilliman himself that the Tyranids were driven off. Now we have background on Trazyn the Infinite, a Necron character who, unusually for a Necron, is not just interested in conquest and destroying the lesser beings from the galaxy, but actually wants to collect samples of them and various other things, including living beings, and preserve them in stasis pods, and keep them in his giant museum on the planet of Solemnis. And we have Imhotep the Stormlord, the Phaeron of the Sautek dynasty. He was once a minor noble in that dynasty, but when the Necrons reawakened, he discovered them all fighting and squabbling amongst each other, and so he killed them all and took over himself. He also doesn't get on very well with Zarek the Silent King, who he views as the reason why the Necrons were in such a predicament in the first place, and he thinks he would in fact be a much better leader of the Necron race. And now we have a short story where Necrons of the Sautek dynasty are fighting against the Eldari of the same Han craft world, who have invaded their territory as they see it. And then we have the build guide for the Wraith is the same as the other two, except that it has a slightly different pose with a different tail piece. The first one we got actually had the wrong tail in the build guide, so I'm not actually sure if this is the correct one or the same mistake again, but regardless, just follow the instructions as given here with the pieces you have. And again, you can choose whether to give it whip coils or the blades. It has different head choices, and you can give it the gun. And the painter guide is exactly the same as the previous Wraiths, though we now have Tesseract Glow, so we're using that on the glowing energy orbs. And there it is completed to join the rest of its unit. So now we'll be heading into our game content, so I'll hand you over to Mike, who will be showing us that and getting into our game.
So first up for new rules, we have some Warlord traits for the Necrons. So up until this point, both sides have been using the Inspiring Leader Warlord trait, but now the Necrons have some alternate options. First up we have Enduring Will, which each time an attack is allocated to the Warlord, you subtract 1 from the damage characteristic to a minimum of 1. Thrall of the Silent King, which adds 3 inches to the range of the Warlord's aura abilities, and in addition when the Warlord uses My Will Be Done or Adaptive Strategy, they can choose one friendly Zarek core unit within 12 instead of 9 inches. Then we have Implacable Conqueror, which is an aura which gives friendly Saracen core units within 6 of the Warlord the ability to reroll charge rolls. And finally we have Honourable Combatant. In the fight phase, each time the Warlord is selected to fight, it can engage in honourable combat, and if you do that, you select one enemy character unit, and then until the end of that fight phase, you add 2 to the attack characteristic of the Warlord, but it can only attack that character unit you've chosen. And you can see Enduring Will reduces the damage from any 2 damage or higher attacks by 1, and then Honourable Combatant, the Overlord has chosen to target the Tech Breach Dominance only and gets to make 2 extra attacks. Now the backstory for today's game. So the war on Kialma's Skull is continuing to rage and both forces are slowly grinding against each other. The Imperium trying desperately to secure some more supply lines, and the Necrons trying to capture those supply lines to try and bleed the Imperium dry. And we're on to today's mission Frontline Clash, which is a 75 power veteran mission. You can see our battlefield there using the 4 battle mats. We have a 10-inch deployment zone each along the long edges, and then we have objectives along the edge of each deployment zone, and then there's 2 more along the centre of the battlefield, 18 inches away from the centre. Our primary objective is take and hold. We get 5 victory points for each of the 3 conditions, so 5 if you control 1 or more objective marker, 5 if you control 2 or more objectives, and 5 if you control more than your opponent, for a maximum of 15 per battle round, and you can't score this in the first battle round. And instead of selecting a secondary objective normally, we each have the raise secondary objective, so we score 5 victory points at the end of the game if we perform the raise objective action once, and then 15 if we're able to perform it twice. So 1 unit from your army can start to perform this action at the start of the movement phase. If it is within range of an objective marker that can be raised and no enemy units are within range of that objective marker. So player A can only attempt to raise objective markers 5 and 6, and player B can only attempt to raise objective markers 1 and 2, so it's effectively the objectives in your opponent's deployment zone, and the action is completed at the end of your turn. And then if the action is successfully completed, that objective marker is raised and removed from the battlefield. So show your armies, get the board set up and get straight into the game. Well, here's the Imperium army I've picked, gone for a mix of all 3 of the factions. So for my Spaceman contingent, I have the Captain, who will be my Warlord. He still has the generic +1 leadership aura, and I have a Lieutenant as well as my 2 HQ choices. 3 troops, we've got a unit of Infiltrators and 2 units of 5 Assault Intercessors, and I have the Outriders and the Eliminators backing them up. For my AdMech force, we've got the Tech Priest Dominus, the Skitarii Rangers, and the Cataphon Destroyers, and then I actually have the entire Battle Sister collection, so that's the Canoness, the 10 Battle Sisters, the Repentis Superior and the 4 Repentia, the 5 Seraphim, the 3 Archoflagellants, and the Penitent Engine. And here's the Necron force I'll be facing.
So again, most of the Necron collection, we've got 4 characters. We've got the Overlord, the Royal Warden, the Technomancer, and the Plasmancer. The Overlord has to be the Warlord, and I'll give him one of the new Necron Warlord traits, Thrall of the Silent King, which is the one that increases his aura range and my will be done ranges by 3 inches. I've got my 3 troops choices, the Immortals and 2 units of Warriors. I've also got the Crypto Thralls, the 5 Flayed Ones, the 5 Death Marks, the 3 Scorpic Destroyers with a Plasma Sight, the 3 Wraiths, now that I've got a complete unit of them, and they're all equipped with the Transdimensional Beamers. Finishing off, we've got the Triarch Stalker, the Canoptek Spider, 2 units of Canoptek Sparrows, and the 3 Tomb Blades. And I've given the Technomancer the Failsafe Overcharger Cryptic Arcana for 2 power, which is the one that means he can select a Canoptek unit in the command phase and give all the models +1 attack or +D3 if it's a monster.
So here we are deployed. Give you a quick pan of the battlefield. You can see we've mostly got ruins around the centre. And you can see there's Objective 5 and Objective 6 there on the bottom right on my side of the board, while there's Assault Intercessors. 4 over here. Objective 2 in the top right under those Necrons. Objective 1 on the top left. And Objective 3 down here. We'll go over my deployment first. So on my left flank I've got the Canoness with the Battle Sisters and then the Repentia with the Superior. Moving towards the middle we've got 1 unit of Assault Intercessors, the Lieutenant behind. The Infiltrators have concealed position deployed inside the structure. The Rangers have deployed around the structure as well. And I've got the Archoflagellants for some melee support. We've got the Cataphrons with the Tech Priest Dominus and the Eliminators. And finally I've got the other unit of Assault Intercessors, the Captain and the Outriders. And I spent a command point to put the Penitent Engine in Strategic Reserves, and the Seraphim are using their Sky Strike ability as well.
And then for my Necron deployment, so from left to right as you see it, we've got the Destroyers and their Plasma Sight with the Plasmancer and his Crypto Thralls, and the Triarch Stalker with 1 unit of Necron Warriors. In the centre in that building is the Overlord with his bodyguard of Immortals, 1 unit of Canoptek Scarabs, and the Tomb Blades are at the back in the middle. And then on the other flank, the other unit of Necron Warriors, the Royal Warden, the Death Marks are standing on Objective 2, and then we've got my Canoptek contingent over there with the Wraiths, the Spider, the other unit of Scarabs, and the Technomancer with the Arcana that can buff them. And I put the Flayed Ones in Dimensional Translocation to arrive later, but nothing in Strategic Reserve.
So before we roll off to see who goes first, I chose the Passion as my Sacred Right for the Battle Sisters. That's the one where they get an extra hit on to hit rolls of 6 with melee attacks. And then we can roll off.
Well, I have won, and I will go first because there's a lot of scary shooting coming at me.
So before the first battle round, the Skitarii Rangers are going to make their 3-inch Ranger move.
I'll be doing Protocol of the Eternal Guardian with the directive that gives me set to defend or Overwatch better if I'm charged, because most of my young is going to be moving, so the cover won't be much use.
Yeah, and for my Canticle I'm picking Shroud's Arm for the cover. For my Imperative I'm taking the one that gives -3 inches of movement but +1 to saves. Obviously I start with 11 command points because I spent 1 for Strategic Reserves, and I start in the Devastator Doctrine. I also gain a Miracle Dice, getting a 5. So with all the preamble done, we're heading into Necron's turn 1.
Some stuff happened in my command phase. I'll tell you about that as I get to the units that it mattered for. So on the left flank, in the movement phase, the destroyers and the plasma sight have moved up. Crypto Thralls and the Plasmancer have moved up. They advanced. Trarch Stalker and Warriors moved up. The Warriors did advance because they're not in range of anything. In the middle, the Overlord advanced. The Immortals advanced. I need to get onto the roof, and I actually had to re-roll theirs because they rolled a 1. In the centre, there are some Scarabs and the Tomb Blades. That other unit of Warriors has just moved up a bit with the Royal Warden. The Death Marks will stay still. And the Canoptek contingent has just moved up to hide behind this wall and sit on Objective 4. None of that's going to be able to do much shooting though, because most of it advanced as well. The Failsafe Overcharger I used on the Wraiths to give them an extra attack, just in case they end up in melee. And I put my will be done on the Tomb Blades. So then we're on to the shooting phase. We'll begin with the Trarch Stalker shooting at the Cataphron Destroyers. 6 shots hitting on 3s. 3 hits wounding on 3s. 3 wounds.
So I got Shroud's Arm, so 5+ armour saves. Made 1.
D3 damage each, so first one does 1, second one does 2, so that kills 1.
Have to lose a plasma because if I took the grab away they'd be out of coherency.
We'll do the Royal Warden next, also shooting the Cataphrons. 2 shots hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s though because it's Trarch Stalker. Got 1 hit which wins on a 4. Nope. We'll move on to the Death Marks. They're actually going to shoot the Cataphrons as well. 2s rolling 1s, they will hit anyway. And 4s, 6 still mortal wound. Well, 3 wounds were and a mortal wound.
So 4+ saves. Made 2, so it's 2 damage.
I'll move on to the Tomb Blades. They're going to shoot the Skitarii Rangers. Starting with the Gauss, 4 shots on 2s because of my will be done. And 3s. 2 wounds.
That's cancelled out by their +1 cover, so 4s. Made 1. It's 1 dead so far.
Tesla, 2s. 6s are extra hits. So there's a total of 6 hits. 3s. 3. Ignoring cover.
So still get +1 from the Canticle, so 3s. Third one, so that's 2 dead so far.
And the Particle Beam. Hit 5 times, wounds 3 times.
So 2+. Third one as well, so 3 dead.
Well, we're actually going to go back because we forgot the end of the movement phase Harbinger of Destruction from the Plasmancer. He can see the Skitarii and they're the closest visible unit, so they take mortal wounds on 4s. Or 2 mortal wounds. The unit of Necron Warriors with Gauss Flares are going to try and finish off that Destroyer. 10 shots on 3s. 7 hits wounding on 5s. 2.
3+. Shroud's Arm cancels out the -1. I'm going to spend a command point to re-roll one of those. Try and save Gravman. Yes.
Technomancer's going to shoot at the Outriders. 3 shots on 3s, and winning on 4s. 2.
5s. Made 1. 1 damage.
And finally, the Canoptek Spider is going to shoot at the Outriders as well. And it didn't show it, but that just did another wound. But that's the end of my shooting.
The Skitarii Rangers have to make a morale test, but I'm actually going to spend 2 to make them automatically pass because I want them to stay, because they'll be at -5, so there's a good chance that someone will run. So now we're on to Imperium turn 1. In the movement phase, the Repentia are moving over to position behind that pipe, with the Superior following them. The Battlesisters have moved forward. I'm also putting Defenders of the Faith on them. The Canoness used her command rod on herself and is just moving behind the Battlesisters. The Assault Intercessors are moving around. Here in the middle, the Infiltrators have moved up onto the upper floor of the building. The Arcoflagellants moved into the structure as well. The Skitarii are going to stay where they are, and the Lieutenants moving over to provide aura benefit to the Infiltrators. The Cataphrons are going to shuffle round a bit, so the one with the plasma can see the spider just there, but the Gravman can see the Tomb Blades and is in range to be repaired by the Dominus. Eliminators are going to stay where they are. I'm spending 2 command points for a Data Blessed Auto Summon to give the Cataphrons a benediction of the Omnissiah. The other unit of Assault Intercessors and the Captain are consolidating on Objective 6, and the Outriders are actually moving back, so that they aren't going to get charged immediately by the Wraiths. Going to start shooting with the Cataphrons. Plasma Man's going to fire at the Spider, supercharged, while Gravman's going to fire at the bikes. So I've got 5 shots from the Gravman, I'll do him first. Hitting on 4s. 5, sorry, against the Tomb Blades. Wounding on 4s, yeah, I think it's strength 5. 1 wound.
I'll take it on the Particle Beamer for 6+ armour. Nope, that's destroyed.
And the Phosphor Blaster misses.
Reanimation. No.
Then we've got the Heavy Plasma, which gets 6 shots. These hit on 4s. And I'll re-roll that one with Benediction. Into a miss. There's only 3 hits. Wounding on 3s. Benediction, re-roll the 1. Into wounds, it's 3 wounds.
And he has a 6+ save. Didn't make any. So does it blow up on a 6? No.
Did the Outriders next. They're going to rapid fire their twin bolt rifles into the Wraiths. So we've got 12 shots from the bikes, but 2 of the Assault Intercessors behind the pink cargo container can see the Wraiths as well, so I'm going to throw them in as well, because they do have the same strength, AP and damage, so this is actually 14 shots on 3s, you're rolling 1s because of the Captain. And rerolls. 10 hits, wounding on 5s. 3 wounds.
4 plus either way. I do 2 wounds to a Wraith.
So next I'm going to do the Eliminators, and they're going to fire mortis rounds at the Raw Warden at the back there. 3 shots hitting on 2s. They will hit. 4s re-rolling 1s because of the Lieutenant, and 6s do a mortal wound in addition. Reroll 1. 3 wounds.
So -3 is Devastator Doctrine, but he is in cover from a pipe, so I guess we're on 5s. Failed all of them. 2 damage base, so even if I did re-roll a save, he's still dead.
Do the Skitarii Rangers next. So the Arc Rifle and the Galvanic Rifle are going to go into that unit of warriors on the right with the Flayers. The Sniper and the Supercharged Plasma Caliber are going to go into the Crypto Thralls on the top left there. So we'll do the shooting at the warriors first. The black dice will be the Arc Rifle, which is out of 15. These hit on 3s, rerolling 1s. And they will hit. White dice wound on 4s, the black dice wounds on 3. They'll wound.
I'll do all of this on people in cover, so a 5 against the Arc Rifle. Yes, and 2 4s. Yes.
I'll do the Plasma. Gets 2 hits. Wounds on 3s. 2 wounds.
They're in cover, so 5s. Make 1. Kills 1 there.
And then the Sniper misses. So does that dead Crypto Thrall come back?
No.
Do these Battle Sisters next. Going to be firing at the warriors opposite them. So we'll have the Flamer, and then because of Defenders of the Faith, basically all the Battle Sisters get Bolter Discipline. So D6 automatic hits from the Flamer. 3. Wounding on 3s. 2 wounds.
Most of the unit has cover, so 3s. Made them.
And then we've got 20 shots from bolt weapons. Going to do the Storm Bolter at the same time. And these hit on 3s, rerolling 1s. And reroll the 1s. 16 hits, and these wound on 4s.
That was 10 hits, 8 have cover, so I'll just do all them. So we've lost 5 so far, and the final ones, 6 dead total. Reanimation, 6 dead, 5s rerolling 1s. Only 2 back.
Well, I'll do the Lieutenant next. There's now a Necron Warrior reanimated in his line of sight. 2 shots on 2s, 1 hit. Wounds on 3, and 6s do a mortal wound. 8 wounded.
3 plus with cover. Another dead. Does it come back? No.
I'll do the Tech Priest Dominus next. He can just about see the same unit of warriors I've been shooting at so far, so I'll shoot the blaster at them. His Serpentor is in range of that Scarab Swarm in the middle, but it's not worth it to just do a point of damage. So you've got 3 shots on 2s, they will hit. Wounding on 3s, and 6s do 2 mortal wounds in addition. Well, that's 2 wounds and 2 mortal wounds.
So the normal wounds are in cover. Saved both of those, so just 2 dead from the mortal wounds, which might come back. 1 does.
My last unit to shoot is these Infiltrators, and they're all within 12 of that unit of warriors, so I'll see if I can finish them off. 10 shots hitting on 3s. So there were 2 auto wounds in there, because I got 2 6s, and then these 5s wound on 4s, re-rolling 1s. Get that one in the box, and then re-roll that one. So there's 5 wounds in total.
I'll take the one out of cover to start with, so he dies, and then 4 more who have cover. They will have saved. So just 1 dies. Does it come back? Re-rolling 1s. No.
Well, that is the end of my shooting. Those warriors do have to take a morale test.
But I'm going to also spend 2 command points for Insane Bravery to keep them around.
With that over, we're on to Battle Round 2. So I'll be switching to the Tactical Doctrine and gaining a Miracle Dice. A 1. For my Canticle, I'm going to choose Benediction of the Omnissiah. And for my Doctrine Imperator, we're going to choose Protector Doctrine, I think it is. It's the one that gives you +1 Ballistic Skill, but +1 Weapon Skill.
And Command Protocol will be Sudden Storm, and we're going to do +1 movement. First thing I'll do in Command Phase after gaining Command Point is a Resurrection Orb on those warriors that are down to 3. 2 back, and several 1s to reroll. 3 back. And at the end of my command phase I gained 15 victory points because I held 3 objectives, which is more than the Imperium did. So that's 5 for 1, 5 for 2, and 5 for more. In the movement phase, well, in the reinforcement step at the end, the flayed ones are coming over here, you can see them already. The destroyers have moved up with the extra inch of movement, giving us a hand. The warriors are in the middle there, with the plasmarts are standing on objective 3. Plasma sight's behind that box, and the Crypto Thrall's behind that wall. You can't see it, but it's within range of objective 3 as well. The Overlord and 1 unit of Scarabs have moved forwards down the centre of the board, like that. The other unit of Warriors also moving up. The Triarch Stalker's going to stay put near Objective 1, the Immortals will stay on their perch up there. The Death Marks will stay on Objective 2. Wraiths have moved up near Objective 6. Technomancer's following them, and actually at the end of the movement phase he will just repair that one. He also put the Failsafe Overcharger on the Wraiths to give them an extra attack. The Scarabs are in the building, and the Tomb Blade zoomed over here to protect the Technomancer mostly. And my Will Be Done went on these Warriors with Gas Flares. At the end of the movement phase, Harbinger of Destruction hit the Battle Sisters. Mortal wounds on 4s, 1. Start shooting with the Triarch Stalker again, once again shooting at the Cataphon Destroyers. 6 shots on 3s. Spend a command point for Techno-Oracular targeting, so that's an automatic wound, and then 2 more, which both fail, so just the 1 wound.
So there's 1 wound at AP-3, so 6. New.
D3 damage. Yay, 3. The Wraiths will shoot their trans-dimensional beamers at the Cataphrone Destroyer as well, actually try and finish it off. 3 shots hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1s because of the Stalker. Well, they all hit. And they win on 5s because they're only strength 4. But we've got 2 wounds with AP-3, 3 damage each.
No, he's dead as well.
Technomancer can only see the Outriders, so he'll shoot them. Well, that didn't do anything, so the Warriors in the middle next will shoot at the Infiltrators. 20 shots on 2s because of my will be done. On the box. 18 hits, wounding on 4s.
6 wounds, so 3 plus saves because we're in cover. Oh, we failed 1, and I'll let the medics scrub that one.
I'll do the other Warriors at the Infiltrators as well. 12 shots on 3s, so wounding on 3s. 4 wounds.
4 plus saves. We made 2, so 1 guy will die.
Plasmancer can only see the Battle Sisters, really, so he'll shoot them. D3 shots, 2 on 3s. Winning on 4s because of Defenders of the Faith. Oh, nothing. The Immortals will shoot at the Infiltrators. 2 are within 15, so winning on 3s. And 2 wounds.
4s. Made 1, failed 1, so guy takes a wound.
The Death Marks will try some counter sniper fire against the Infiltrators. 2s. 1 hit. Wounds on a 3. No. Final thing to shoot is the Tomb Blades, who can see the Archoflagellants, so we might try and get rid of 1. Gauss gets 2 wounds.
So ignoring on 5s. New, so there's 1 dead.
And the Tesla gets 5 hits out of 3. And 4 wounds.
Ignoring damage on 5s. No, they're all dead.
On to the charge phase. We will start with the Destroyers, who are going to charge the Assault Intercessors over on this side. And the Plasma Sight will also try and infuse them with madness before they go. So on a 1, 1's destroyed. No. And their charge roll is an 8. That'll be enough. So they make it in like that. The Flayed ones will charge the Sisters Repentia next. They will be able to fight them over the pipe because they are within an inch of it, so it's not actually as long a charge as you might think. Probably still an 8, but still. Oh, 12 will do done anyway.
Yeah, they're in.
Overlord will charge the Infiltrators on the roof. Don't know.
I don't think a 3 is going to be enough somehow.
Actually not enough, but I think I'm safe to re-roll it with a command point at this point. Oh, hey, no, a 2. Well, the Scarabs are going to charge both the Infiltrators and the Skitarii Rangers. I'm sort of hoping the Overlord will be able to help, but so it is enough. So they do finish there. They do have to be within engagement range of the Infiltrators. And finally, the Wraiths will charge these Assault Intercessors. I'm not going to roll, they just need a 2. That's the end of my charges.
Yeah, I'm going to heroically intervene with the Captain.
I'm going to do the Destroyers first. They're going to pile in. So we'll bring the Battle Sisters in, but obviously all my attacks have to go on the Assault Intercessors.
Yeah, and I think I will use Transhuman Physiology now on them.
We'll go with the Big Sword, 4 attacks because of the Plasma Sight, on 3s re-rolling 1s, and 4s because of Transhuman. So yeah, that did make a difference, it only kills 1 so far. And the other attacks, re-rolling all those 1s. Got 9 hits, again 4s. Now we're seeing the 3s, there's 4 wounds, AP-3.
6s. No, they're all dead. So the Destroyers consolidate. I'm actually going to spend 2 command points to interrupt with the Repentia. So the Repentia have +1 to hit because they set to defend. They reroll everything still because of Zealot. They have 2 attacks each, so and 6s get an extra hit as well because of the Passion. Looking for 3s rerolling everything. So reroll those 2 misses. Ooh. So that's 8 hits +3. And these wound on 2s because they're strength 6 and they got +1 to wound from the Superior. 10 wounds at AP-3.
Yes, they're all dead.
And they actually get a Miracle Dice for wiping out a unit with a Baxter's unit getting a 4.
So I'll do the Wraiths, they're going to put everything into the Assault Intercessors. They have 15 attacks because of the Failsafe Overcharger, which hit on 4s. 7 hits, wounding on 3s. 6 wounds, AP-2.
Come on, good roll. Oh. Whoa, that was a good roll. Only 2 dead.
And last we've got the Scarabs who are going to attack these Skitarii Rangers. 12 attacks hitting on 4s, 6s automatically wound. 2 automatic wounds and 5 hits that wound on 4s. So 4 wounds total.
So 4 plus saves. We made 2 dead. Starting my hitbacks with the Skitarii Rangers and the Infiltrators. All the Infiltrators were able to pile into the Scarabs. And between them they've managed to destroy a base, so we're going to see if it comes back to life.
No.
Going on again, the Battle Sisters piled in around the Destroyers so they could all get in. I just want to show you the roll. So I actually got 10 hits out of their base attacks and then 3 more with the Passion. So it's actually 13 out of 11. But they only wound on 5s. 6 wounds.
6 saves for the Destroyers. Oh, we made them all.
This fight is over here is the only one left to do, so I'll start with the Captain. 6 attacks from the Captain on 2s. Getting 4 hits. 4s. Only a 1 wound.
With a 4+ invulnerable save, which I've made.
5 wounds from the Assault Intercessors as well.
With 4s. failed 3, so it does kill a Wraith. I think I'll spend a command point. I hope to not lose a Wraith though, so... And we made it, so 2 damage.
So, in my command phase I get a command point and I also get 10 victory points because I still hold objectives 5 and 6. And on my movement down here, the Battle Sisters squad is going to fall back from the destroyers and then the rest of the Battle Sisters are just going to form a ring around them. Over here, the Skitarii Rangers are falling back, but the Infiltrators are going to stay engaged with those Scarabs, and the Lieutenants hopefully going to move in to finish them off. The Eliminators and the Tech Priest Dominus have moved a bit so that they can see the Overlord. Assault Intercessors and the Captains are going to stay in melee with the race, while the Outriders are going to move to help them out. And then up the top there, my reinforcements are going to arrive with the Seraphim and the Penitent Engine coming in from reserves. Start shooting down here. I'll have the Canoness use a crack grenade and so will the Repentis Superior. So Canoness on only 2 rerolling ones, she hits. I think I'll actually spend my 4 miracle dice to make sure it wounds.
So a 4+ save. No.
D3 damage, 2. And the one from the Superior hits, wounds on a 3, it does wound.
Again 4+. Yes.
Do the Lieutenant's pistol at the destroyers as well. 2 shots on 2s and 4s. 1 wound.
3+, yes.
So the Infiltrators did a wound to the Scarabs with their pistols, and now the Tech Priest Dominus is going to fire both his weapons at the destroyers. So Dominus's pistol missed, and doing the big gun that hits on 3s, but I can reroll 1 because of the Benediction. Wounded on 3s, 6s do 2 mortal wounds in addition, so I will reroll 1 of these with Benediction into 6, 2 wounds.
So 2 saves. Which I failed 1 of, so 2 damage applied first kills the destroyer and then 2 mortal wounds on another one.
Yeah. Pistol fire at the Wraiths did nothing, so the Outriders next are going to shoot at the Tomb Blades. 12 shots on 4s, rerolling 1. 7 hits, looking for 5s. Getting 2 wounds at AP -2.
So 5s. Made 1, take a damage.
Up at the top, I'll do the Heavy Flame on the Penitent Engine, or the Heavy Flamers rather. 2d6 automatic hits for 8. Wounding on 3s, 6 wounds.
4 get cover from the pipe, so 4 at a time. Failed 3. Last one 2 at a time. Lives, but reanimation for the ones who died. Oh, 2 come back.
Seraphim will shoot at them as well. And at the end of that, 3 death marks are left. My last shooting is the Eliminators. They're going to have a pop at the Overlord since he's out in the open. 3 shots hitting on 3s because we moved. Rerolling 1s because of the Captain. Alright, only 2 hits. Wounding on 4s, rerolling 1s, 6s do mortal wound, 1 wound. I'm firing mortars rounds by the way.
So a 4+ vulnerable. All failed.
2 damage.
Yeah, take that, that's fine.
You're not going to chase some of these charges. Repentia just coming into the destroyers, Lieutenant going into the Scarabs. I did roll for the Outriders and got an 8, and that's enough to get 1 of them round. Hopefully I might be able to pile into the Technomancer later on. The important ones up at the top are the Seraphim and the Penitent Engine, and the Penitent Engine is going to go first.
I might as well Overwatch because I've got loads of command points and we'll be on 5s because we've got a pipe to hide behind. So we got a hit, which wounds on a 4. It does wound. Right.
6+ armour, no. 5+ do more damage, no.
Yeah.
Its charge roll is a 5. I will spend a command point to reroll that. No. And the Seraphim, yeah, they're not in either. 8 attacks from the Repentia, hitting on 4s, attacking the destroyers, but rerolling everything because of Zealot. Rerolling everything. Getting 2 more hits plus a 6, so we get 6 in total. Wounding on 2s because of the Repentia Superior and their higher strength. I will spend a command point to reroll one of those ones because I want these destroyers dead. Yeah, so that's 5 wounds.
5 6+ saves. Only made 1, so that will wipe them out even with a command point.
And that does wipe out the destroyers, so getting another miracle dice. Ooh, a 6.
I can spend 2 with counter offensive to interrupt with the Wraiths again. We're going to put 1 on the bikes and 2 on the Assault Intercessors.
I'm going to spend my command point for Transhuman on the Assault Intercessors.
So we'll attack the bike first on 4s. We've still got the benefit. Ooh, only 1 hit. Wounds on a 3. No. Yeah, I'll re-roll that because I actually would like to kill a bike. No. And 10 attacks on the Intercessors. 6 hits wounding on 4s because of Transhuman. 4 hits, no difference.
5+ saves again. We made 2. Sarge lives. Do the Lieutenant next. 5 attacks on 2s, they all hit. It's 3s. Ugh, nothing. The only other charging unit is the bikes, and they're all going to attack the Wraiths. 19 attacks from the bikes on 3s, rerolling 1s. 15 hits, looking for 5s to wound. 6.
4s to save. Failed 5. There's 1 left on 2 wounds.
Yep.
Reanimation. Not quite. So I killed them so that the captain isn't in range anymore.
But the bikes are able to bring in the Technomancer.
So I'll do these scarabs. 1, nothing happens. Yeah, 1.
Well, after that, a scarab base blows up, and then the other scarab base manages to do a wound to the lieutenant. But that doesn't mean the infiltrators aren't within an inch horizontally anymore, so they're actually unengaged. Well, the only fights left are the Assault Intercessor Sergeant and the Technomancer. Technomancer missed, and Assault Intercessor Sergeant failed to wound.
And also in the morale phase, this plasma sight disappears because there's no destroyers left.
So we're on to battle round 3. And get a Miracle Dice. Getting a 3. And for my Canticle this turn, I'm going to pick Litany of the Electromancer for -1 to hit on the Tech Priest in melee, and I'm not going to choose a Doctrinary Imperative.
And we're going to be Protocol of the Vengeful Stars this battle round for an extra AP on 6s to wound with shooting, because I'm not going to be shooting anything in cover, I don't think.
And I'm going to switch straight to the Assault Doctrine.
So in my command phase, my will be done went on these warriors that you can see. I gained 15 victory points at the end for holding quite a few objectives. The warriors have moved up to barricades where the Battle Sisters are. The Overlord has come over with them as well. The Crypto Thrall and the Plasmonster have pretty much swapped position. So the Plasmonster is now in the ruin, the Crypto Thrall is outside, and the Trike Stalker just moved forward slightly. Up at the top, the Immortals have come down from their building. You can just see one peeking around the wall there. Warriors have moved over, and Deathmarks are going to stay still, and the Technomancer fell back from the melee he was in to try and head off that annoyance that's appeared over by Objective 2. The lone Scarab that was fighting the Lieutenant has run away and hidden behind the Hematrit Reactor. And over on the far side, the Wraith will stay in melee. The Technomancer brought back a Tomb Blade, because they're a core unit, and gave the failsafe overcharger to these Scarabs. At the end of the movement phase, we've got Harbinger of Destruction to go off, which will hit the Battle Sisters. Mortal wounds, 2. So then we're on to shooting. The Trike Stalker is going to shoot at the Eliminators. 6 shots on 3s. Still can only manage 3 hits. Wounding on 3s. 1.
6s. No. So, deals damage.
2, kills 1. Shoot the Tomb Blades at them as well. We'll start with the Gauss. On 3s, rerolling 1s because of the Trike Stalker. And 3s. Just 1 again.
5s. Made it this time.
And the Tesla and the Particle Beam are at the same time. Tesla's in red. Didn't get any 6s. We can re-roll that 1. So 7 hits in total, which are all strength 5, and we get 4 wounds. Snowy.
4 3 pluses. Oh, I failed 2, so that kills another one.
The Crypto Thrall want to go next. It's going to shoot at the Repentia. 2 shots on 3s because it's near Plasmancer. Only 1 hit. Wounds on a 3. Yes.
6 plus invulnerable. No. 5 plus doing all damage. Yep.
Warriors with Gauss Reapers will shoot at them as well. 12 shots on 2s, as mine will be done. 10 hits wounding on 3s. That's a terrible roll, that's only 4 wounds.
For 6 plus invulnerables, didn't make any of those. Ignoring damage on 5s. Ignored 2, so only 2 die.
Plasmonster will shoot at the Battle Sisters. So I got 1 wound out of that.
So I'll put 1 in cover, so 5 plus armour. Yep.
And then finally, up in the top, everything over there is going to shoot at the Penitent Engine, and if I kill that, then we'll start shooting at the Seraphim. So we'll start with the Immortals. 2 wounds.
So 6 plus armour, made 1. 5 plus doing more damage. No, it's down to 3 wounds.
So I only got 1 wound with the Deathmarks, but it was a 6, so it does a mortal wound in addition, and is AP -3 because it's command protocol.
So straight to ignoring damage on 5s. We ignore both.
The Warriors did a bit better. We got 5 wounds, 3 of which are AP -2.
2 5 plus armour, made 1. 3 6 plus armour, made 1. 3 go through, ignoring on 5s. Ignored 2, down to 2 wounds.
So we're on to the charge phase. Those Scarabs have just charged into the Assault Intercessor and the Captain. The Overlord is going to charge the Battle Sisters.
They will set to defend because they're all just about within 3 inches of those crates.
So the Overlord will go in over there, and the Warriors also charged, staying away from characters though. Starting with the Scarabs, they actually managed to do 8 wounds to the Assault Intercessor Sergeant.
Yeah, so 3s. Oh, he failed 2, so that's enough to bring him down at last.
Overlord next on the Battle Sisters. He manages to hit twice, and wound twice.
6 invulnerable. No, 2 dead Battle Sisters.
And the Warriors as well on 2s, because mine will be done. And 3s. No, only 2.
I'll use a 3 Miracle Dice to save 1, and then roll the other, which is passed. I'll pick these bikes to go because the Captain's safe. 10 attacks from the Outriders on 3s, roll 1s. 7 hits, wounding on 5s, getting 1 wound.
4 plus invulnerable, we're in the and the Wraith will hit back at the Outriders. It hit twice, and it wounds on 3s. Just 1, AP -2.
5s, no.
Kills the wounded bike.
I'll do the Battle Sisters, they're going to attack the Warriors, getting 4 wounds from the Battle Sisters.
4s to save. Failed 2. Reanimation gets 1.
Lastly, I've got the captain. He's got 6 attacks against the scarabs because he was charged on 2s, getting 5, 3s. Well, that's 5 wounds.
Yeah, the 2 damage each, so he destroys 2 bases.
Yeah, and 1 goes down to 2.
Reanimation. Oh, we got a base back.
At the end of the round, the Battle Sisters have to take a morale test, but I'll just use my 1 Miracle Dice to make sure they stick around. On to Imperium turn 3. So, in my command phase I gain 5 victory points and a command point, because I only hold 1 objective, objective 5. And in my movement phase, the 2 remaining Repentia and the Superior are going to advance around the blue cargo container, because with the Driven Onward ability they can both still charge later in the turn. Down here, the Battle Sisters have fallen back from the objective, while the Canoness and the Lieutenant are moving to get as close as possible to the Warriors, and the Infiltrators moving to see the Warriors over the side of the ruin. Down here, the captain's going to stay in melee, the Tech Priest Dominus and the Eliminator Sergeant are moving across, and the Skitarii Rangers are coming over to help as well. And around the top right of the board, the 2 bikes are falling back from the Wraith to take objective 4, and the Penitent Engine is moving straight down the road, taking a beeline for that tasty Technomancer, and the Seraphim are going around the pipe to deal with the Death Marks. Start shooting with the Penitent Engine. It's closest to the Technomancer, so I'll fire both the Heavy Flamers at him. So 2d6 automatic hits for 5, wounding on 3s. Only 2 wounds, AP -1.
5s. Takes 2 wounds.
Do the Seraphim next. They're going to shoot at the Death Marks, so I'll have 1 throw crank grenade, so the black dice is the plasma pistol and the red dice is the crank grenade, and the rest are bolt pistols. The black dice wounds on 3 and the others wound on 5s. Oh, 2 bolt pistol wounds and a plasma wound.
Plasma wound needs 6. No. Bolt pistols on 3s. Made those. So 1 dies. Does it come back? No.
Down here, the Lieutenant's going to fire his Volkite pistol at that Scarab base, which you can just about see behind the Hemotrip reactor. See if I can pick that off. 2 shots on 2s. They both hit. Wounding on 3s. 6s do a mortal wound in addition. So that's not enough to kill it, but it does a mortal wound, and it's AP -1.
I guess I have cover from the Hemotrip reactor though, so 6? No. So.
I'll do the Infiltrators next. The 3 regular guys in front will fire their bolt carbines at the Warriors, while Sergeant's going to try and finish off that Scarab base with his. So 1 wound each on the Scarabs and the Warriors after the shooting.
Scarab saved on a 6. Oh, it did.
Oh.
And the Warriors on a 4. Yes.
The Canoness killed a Warrior with her plasma pistol. Over here, the Tech Priest Dominus is going to fire both his weapons at the Wraith. Black dice will be the Serpenta, which hits on a 2, but the Volkite hits on a 3 because he moved. Black dice wounds on a 4, white dice wound on 3s, and 6s do 2 mortal wounds in addition. So there's just 2 mortal wounds and a save.
Which I failed, so I might re-roll that. Re-roll. Yeah, succeeded on the save, so it's down to 1 wound.
The Skitarii and the Eliminator Sergeant both shot at the Wraith as well and failed to wound it, and the Captain did a wound to the Scarabs with his plasma pistol for all the good that'll do. So I think that's it for all my shooting. So in the charge phase, so far the Tech Priest Dominus and the Eliminator Sergeant going into the Tomb Blades, just to tie them up. The Lieutenant, the Canoness and the Infiltrators charge those Warriors. And up here, the Repentia and the Repentia Superior have gone in to fight the Plasmancer. Now up at the top, the Penitent Engine is going to charge the Technomancer and those Warriors.
And the Warriors will Overwatch. It's already in 1 wound at AP -2 though, because command protocols.
6, yep. So at the top, the Seraphim get into the Death Marks. And down here, the Skitarii Rangers are going to charge those Scarabs. And the Skitarii get into those Scarabs.
Start of the fight phase, the Plasmancer Zora might do mortal wounds. Repentia Superior on a 4+, she takes a mortal wound, and the Repentia do not.
I'll start up here with the Repentia. They have 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, rerolling everything because of Zealot, and 6s do an extra hit. So we can reroll those misses. Getting 3 hits plus another one, so 4 hits in all. Wounding on 2s because they've got strength 6 plus 1 to win from the Superior. 3 wounds.
And he's dead.
4 attacks from the Canoness on 2s, rerolling 1s. And 6s get an extra hit, so that's 5 hits. Wounding on 5s. Ooh, 2 dead.
Nope.
13 attacks from the Infiltrators, hitting on 3s. 10 hits, wounding on 4s, rerolling 1s. So that's 3 wounds at AP -1, because the Assault Doctrine applies to the generic close combat weapon.
5s, they're both dead.
So here's the results of the fighting down here. The Warriors are wiped out, so Infiltrators consolidated this way to get towards the objective. Lieutenants just piled in and consolidated around as well. Moving over here, I'll do the Skitarii Rangers on the Scarabs first. So the Alpha managed to kill the Scarab base with his maul. Does it come back though?
No.
Got the Tech Priest Dominus next. He has 3 attacks with his Power Axe that hit on 3s. getting 2 hits. And wound on 3s because he's showing 6, so that's 2 wounds, AP minus 2.
So 5s, made 1, so that will destroy a bike, I'll take that. Does it come back? No.
Eliminator Sergeant on the bikes as well, 4 attacks, 5s, whoa, 4 wounds, AP minus 1.
4s. Another 2 damage, kills another.
He's punched a bike to death.
Reanimation? No.
So the Penitent Engine, we'll put 3 attacks on the Technomancer and then 2 on the Warriors, I think. 3 attacks on the Technomancer, on 4s, rerolling everything. See, we needed those attacks. Well, we got 2 hits. 2s to wound. Squished. And on the Warriors, reroll the miss, getting a hit. Oh, didn't squish any of them. Finally, I've got the Seraphim against the Death Marks. Black dice is the power source from the Superior, white dice are the regular ones. Hitting on 3s, and 6s do extra hits. These all wound on 5s. Black dice are higher AP. Oh, we got 2 wounds. 1 at AP minus 3 and 1 at AP nothing.
Sword. Nope. Normal 1. 3. Oh, no, they're dead. That's all the charges, so my pick, I'll do the Scarabs. It's actually going to attack the Skitarii Rangers. Still got 5 attacks from the failsafe Overcharger. It got a hit and an auto wound, which did wound, so 2 wounds.
4 plus armour. Fail both, kills 2 Rangers. So the Captain will finish off that Scarab base. Captain is going to consolidate into that Wraith.
Warriors managed 1 wound on the Penitent Engine.
4 plus armour. Ooh. 5 plus to ignore. Yes.
Sorry. Tombblade missed the Eliminator Sergeant, and last we've got the Wraith, which hit 4 times on the Captain. It wins on 3s. 2.
4 plus invulnerable. Oh, he's fine. Phew.
And at the end of the fighting, I actually spend my command point to try and bring the Plasmarts back on a 4+ with Resurrection Protocols. No, he fails.
So there we go. It's getting awfully bloody, but we'll be heading into Necron's turn 4.
But I think I'm going to call the game there, because the Imperium are currently in control of 5 objectives. I reckon I could take Objective 3 over by the Crypto Thrall back, and Objective 2 where the Seraphim are back. But they're going to definitely hold 3 objectives for 2 turns running and gain 15. They might even be able to raise Objective 2 and get another 5. And I think I'm very unlikely to score more than 15 in total, which would take me to a draw. But more likely, I think with the amount of models the Imperium still have, they'll probably be able to stop me scoring.
So yes, that'll be an Imperial victory. We'll recap that game for you now. So that was the game for issue 68 of Warhammer 40,000 Imperium magazine. How did you think that went?
Well, I think it could have gone either way. I think my basic plan was reasonably sound, which was send things up 2 flanks and try and pin you back in your deployment zone and threaten your home objectives. But there were a few points where it didn't quite go my way. I actually think the most pivotal moment in the game was when you spent 2 command points to interrupt with the Repentia and killed the Flayed Ones, because I'm sure the Flayed Ones would have finished them off, because then the Repentia went on to kill the Destroyers and the Plasmancer and be in the way and threaten my objective. So if they hadn't been alive, that whole flank might have been completely different, because the Destroyers would have still been alive as well, because nothing else over there could have threatened them in melee. And the Wraiths took a long time to go down, but didn't actually do that much damage. If they'd done a bit more damage to those Assault Intercessors, that flank might have also been a bit more of a problem for you.
Yeah, I thought I was really on the back foot going second. I did think you were going to build up an insurmountable lead, but I think I was just able to turn the tide in time. Because your army ended up spread out, I was able to deal with what was attacking me and then mop up the rest. Once your powerful melee units were down, I was able to push back out and my reinforcements coming in.
Yeah, well, I think your flank attack on Objective 2 was actually quite important, because by suddenly controlling that whole half of the table, you put yourself in command of 5 objectives, and at that point, there was no way back, really.
And the Penitent Engine refusing to die as well, that was pretty helpful.
Oh yeah, I shot so much at that, and it passed all of its saves and ignoring damage. That was quite important as well.
Yeah, I think I made some misplays as well. I probably should have moved the Canifrons so that they were obscured by the Hemotrope reactors. You can shoot at them with the Chark Stalker, or hidden them behind the building or something. Probably should have put the Arcoflagellants in strategic reserve, so I could have deployed them on the opposite flank near Objective 1 and just have them stand near the Chark Stalker, so you'd have to go and fight them, because for 3 of them they'd be able to take the objective. That would have denied you some points, possibly. I put them there to back up the Skitarii Rangers, but I already had the Infiltrators there, who were probably just as good.
Yeah, they were preventing me from attacking that building, but then I suddenly realised the Tombblades could just shoot at them, and they're not that tough when you do shoot at them, because they don't have an armour save. A couple of other things as well. I made a mistake in not putting the Royal Warden with the Hemotrope reactor between him and the Eliminators. I didn't actually expect you to shoot at him, but once you did, that was really annoying, because it stopped my command protocols working over there, and he would have been quite useful over there when all that other stuff turned up. The Overlord also failed a charge with a reroll. It probably wouldn't have mattered that much, but the Infiltrators were a bit annoying later. And I suppose I was unlucky the Tomb Spider got blown up. If it had been alive on 2 wounds, because there would have been an extra problem on that flank, and then, again, it might have gone different.
Yeah, and we finally got to see all 3 Wraiths together as well.
Yeah, and it was definitely nice to have a full unit of Wraiths, as I've been saying for a while. A very annoying unit to get rid of, and they're very fast and they're dangerous in melee, so by sending them up the board, they can just get into your lines and be a pain.
Yeah, and it's the sort of thing that Assault Intercessors and Outriders actually struggle a lot with, because they only wound on 5s.
Yeah, so they will definitely be a regular feature in future games, I think. And the Failsafe Overcharger actually did a reasonable job. Yeah, giving all the Wraiths an extra attack is pretty good. You can also give the Tomb Spider D3 extra, which is also quite good.
Right, even if you had a unit of 6 Scarab bases, 6 extra attacks on them.
I'm not sure it's worth 2 power necessarily. I suppose you can have a unit of Wraiths up to 6, I think, so if you use it on them, that would probably be worth 2 power. 6 extra attacks with Wraiths, or even a unit of 3 Tomb Spiders you can take in full army list. So with the units I have, it's not that good, but I wanted to try it out now that I had all the Wraiths.
And also in this issue we got some Necron Warlord traits, actually the first new Warlord traits we've had, and sort of introduction to the concept.
Yeah, it's nice to have a change from the generic one that we had. It came up slightly occasionally, but it's nice to have some more choices now. I probably won't use the generic one again.
Well, yeah, you don't really need the extra leadership. All your stuff's leadership 10 anyway.
I mean, the one I picked I think was pretty good. It wasn't dramatic or exciting during the game, but it did let me use my Will Be Done on a bit further away things, and also increase the range of Relentless March. It just meant the Overlord could be a bit further out from things and still gain benefits, so that was actually pretty handy, even though you didn't really see the effects that much. I think the other one that is really good is Enduring Will, -1 damage on all attacks, because the Overlord is pretty difficult to kill anyway, and I do tend to send him out to do things by himself.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's generally the most useful one. It's going to cut all those 2 damage Mortis rounds or power swords from the Space Marine characters. It's good for the Destroy Lord as well.
Yeah, we haven't yet seen me not take a Overlord, but in theory, some of these could be pretty good for another character as well. Implacable Conqueror will be useful for the Lich Guard, which are the only melee core unit I'll get, so that's not so much used with this collection. And Honourable Combatant, might use it sometimes, but only if I'm expecting him to take on characters, which the problem with that one is that you have to actually fight characters to make it worthwhile, but there's no guarantee that will happen, and you can just avoid him and negate all the benefits of that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's probably a choice between that one or the reduced damage one, but the reduced damage one's going to be good in every single situation, and you might as well just make him last longer. He does a lot of damage already.
So anyway, yeah, I'll probably use one of those every time now.
Otherwise, I don't think there's too much more to say about this game or this issue, so as always, if you like this content, do leave a like and subscribe. If you've been getting Imperium as well, let us know how you've been getting on. Otherwise, we've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.